What's up, guys? I'm Pubs Kid, and today I'm going to be doing a video on why I don't think that the Epiphone Thunderbird 4 should be your first bass. If you're a beginner, why I don't think this might be the best bass for you. A couple of things I want to cover before we get into it. First, check out this band, The Perks. This is my friend's band. They're really awesome. They only have a couple of videos on YouTube, but check them out, and they should be getting more uploads. Before too long. They're releasing an album this year, or I guess you could say like next year, because we're in, November now. So that's pretty awesome. Secondly, I apologize for the quality of this video, because this is being recorded on my webcam. Long story short, my brother has my GoPro, and he's off in, well, the other side of the country. But anyways, we'll just make do for now. But I wanted to make a video, it's been forever. So, that out of the way, let's get right into the Thunderbird 4. Now, a lot of people gravitate towards this bass because it looks awesome. It's not much of a secret, this thing looks like amazing. It comes in a pretty awesome variety of colors. You can get straight black. There is a goth version of this, which is matte black. It also has like a cross inlay, and Pelham blue, which is a really nice color, black, the vintage sunburst, and I want to say red. Yeah. So I do apologize if one of those is wrong. Someone can feel free to correct me and yell at me in the comments if that's the case. Anyways, other things. This is a large scale neck. I want to say 34-inch scale neck, which is pretty typical. The headstock is pretty big though. Here's my, what's this something I can, you know what, here's a Monster can. Here's a Monster can, if anyone drinks Monster with any regularity like me. Monster can, headstock. It's a pretty freaking big neck. Or headstock, sorry. Very big, unnecessary, which is kind of one of my smaller complaints, but it is kind of a complaint that I'm going to bring up. It just doesn't need to be that big. It makes it annoying. This is one of the reasons why you can't pop this bass into just any regular gig bag or case or whatever, which is kind of another problem. You do have to buy a specific Epiphone Thunderbird 4 case. If you want to get either a molded case, obviously you need a custom one, but even if you just wanted to just grab a generic one, I think let's say like a Freedom case or something like that, or Roadrunner or something like that, you can't just grab one of those. You have to buy the specific one that's made for this. That gets annoying. Basically, I think that this bass is nice. You do get a lot of tonal control. The mic on this camera is not so great, but I'll try and demonstrate that in a little bit. You do get a lot of tonal control, but the body shape is really awkward to play. I will demonstrate more of that later. The neck seems to dive like this. When you're playing, it wants to do this as opposed to staying up or just even in the center. And I have I'll show you in the mirror. This is my Fender Deluxe P bass. I'll show you that in a little bit and how that's different. And I'll just talk about that as like the body design and things like that, not like direct comparisons, that's way more expensive, but talking about why a Squier might be a bit of a better fit. And the neck itself is pretty clunky. It's just pretty big. Can't think of something to compare it to, but if you go into a Guitar Center and you really look at this and compare it to another bass, you'll see what I'm talking about. I don't think it necessarily prevents you from playing fast, but if you're a beginner, especially if you have smaller hands, this could be something that hinders you, and maybe it isn't something you want so much. Need coffee. Okay, so yeah, now I'm going to try my darndest to show you a little bit about the tonal control here that you get. I'm not really gonna I acknowledge, like I said, that the mic here is pretty bad, but I'm just going to show you some of the variety you can get. So that's with pretty much the front humbucker turned all the way up, the rear humbucker off, and then the tone all the way up. Now I'll turn the tone right around to mid, and I'll do about halfway on both humbuckers. Hopefully you can hear that. You can hear that's a bit more of like a smooth sounding. Let me see what's a good song. Kind of works for everything. Let's see, next I will turn just the rear humbucker all the way up, and I'll do all the way down on the tone. This is more of a raw sounding. Fail. Let's see what's another. Alright, if you're still watching this, that means that I have successfully recovered my camera from the floor where it fell, and I have continued recording, which is awesome. Back to the video. So it has, like I was saying, a lot of different tones that you can get out of it, which is nice. Definitely a pro. Now let's get into some of the other cons, and we'll talk more about kind of the body shape and things like that. I'm going to unplug from this point on. And I'll actually even take the strap off and try and show you some things here best that I can. So I think that the most accurate statement I can give the Thunderbird body as a whole is that it looks awesome, and it's not necessarily the most practical body shape out there. It's one of the lesser practical ones, actually, I'd have to say. And what I mean by that is, you can see that it's pretty thin, which is actually really awesome, because, you know, not that thick, not derp. But it looks really awesome. But the problem is that there's no contours which really work with your body whatsoever. As a matter of fact, a lot of the cutaways here and everything really contradict the ones that are on your body. So it kind of fights you in several ways, especially when you're trying to sit down and play this. If you look, when I'm sitting down and trying to play this, my arm kind of gets stopped by the back of the body here. So that's one thing. And then, I mean, I can kind of, if I bend my wrist at like literally like a right angle, then I still have some functionality of being able to pluck these back. I'm going to move this light. This should help. Okay, there you go. You can see I can kind of rest my hand on the back humbucker if I just get it just right. That's not too bad. If I like playing on the front humbucker, that's a real strain, because now I have to be like, oh, like this, and that nobody wants to do that. That's just annoying. This whole part here, it's not super annoying, but it does kind of dig into my, like, this is my rib right here, and that's also uncomfortable. So we have 2 points that are annoying. The bottom does actually stay on your leg, that's not too bad. But what it does want to do is kind of like neck dive, like this. More so when you're standing up, and I'll show you that if I can in a minute. Which brings me to the next point. The straps, when you have the straps on, the body design is at such an angle where you should just be able to kind of visualize this. You see the straps come out here and here, and that makes it want to go this way. If you were holding the bass like this, then it would want to stay there. But because you have to hold the bass more like this, it wants to constantly come off of the strap loop, which is really, really weird. So a lot about this body shape doesn't make a whole lot of sense from a, ergonomic and functionality standpoint. Let me go ahead and stand up and wear this, and I'll show you some of those points that I was trying to get at. And here we go. So, as you can see, this doesn't really want to stay on here that well. I'm going to move because it's going to slide down, as you can see. So if I, at any point, there was just like even a song where there's just nothing that I'm playing, and then I try and go rest like this is going to want to come off. And another thing is, if you don't have strap locks, when it starts to slide down, this also really wants to pop off in the back, because it's just constant. It's putting a lot of stress on this part of the strap. So, not a lot of sense that makes. And another thing which contributes to this problem is the chunky headstock, because this is so heavy and big, and it's obviously end of the bass. It wants to dive down because you have that extra weight. So there's that. And yeah. So with those couple of things stated, I'm going to grab my P-bass, and I'll show you some of the things that I like about that and why you might like that design a bit more as a beginner. So here we go. And once again, I'm not going to be bringing anything up about what this bass sounds like, or anything like that. Basically, we're going to be looking at this like it was just a regular P-bass. First of all, we do have, this is a hybrid, so this has more of a jazz, it's kind of a hybrid between a jazz bass and a P-bass neck. So the end is a lot thinner, but still it's going to have a thinner neck than the Thunderbird. So that's one thing. But some big things about this is when you look at the body, what do you see? You see a lot more ergonomic. You see contours. You see nice, smooth cutaways here. Like here in the back, this works perfectly with like where your rib would be. That other part that's kind of jabbing you, this is just easily slides right into that part of your chest, I guess. It's a lot more comfortable to play sitting down. It doesn't really fight you. It does like fall a little bit, but not a lot. Still to the point where if I wanted to, I can like go type on my keyboard and it's not going to be really fighting me. So that's nice. What else? What else? Oh yeah, this contour here. I'll try and show you that. You see that kind of like goes back at a nice smooth angle. So I can just have my arm here. If I'm standing up and playing, I can have this really low, and I can kind of have my hand comfortably rest in the back. Or if I'm sitting down, I can have it rest there comfortably as well. But there's no point where I really feel like it's uncomfortable. So that's nice. Oh, and yeah, just so you know, for those of you who may not know all the distinctions between P and J bass, precision and jazz, this is not a pickup that you normally see on a precision bass. These are the only two pickups that you'd see. So yeah, it would really more be like this, but yeah, small correction. Other than that, it's just a lot more ergonomic all around. Other important things. It's got a C-shaped neck, which means that the neck is literally looks more like a C. Not exactly like this, but it's more at a slight curve on the actual fretboard. So it can be a bit more comfortable to play as opposed to just going on like a flat surface with your fingers. That's a little bit harder, but it's also dependent on what you like. Anyways, before this gets too long, I hope that was a useful video, and thank you for watching.